top sectors, the top 5 sectors to be specific. So if you are invested in the market, if you have been, in it for a while, you've been thinking, maybe I need to reallocate my account. I'm not really too up to date on what's happening. This is a great podcast for you because you get to hear what the 5 top sectors are as of July 5th because things change. So if you listen to the podcast later, again, it's July 5th, 2023. That's important to note because it is applicable to the time frame which you're listening to it to determine if these sectors are still up. So always, always, always do your homework. Make sure that the information that you're receiving is applicable to the time in which you're listening to it. So with that being said, Leon's going to tell you why we chose this topic while I do a little bit of homework.
Yep. So we're now in July. So the first half of the year is officially done for everything, and particularly for the market. And in the market, typically the two, I guess, points in the year that everybody pays attention to are the beginning of the year and in the middle of the year, because that's when people kind of do assessments. So, okay, where is the market at right now? So, as everyone remembers, last year was horrific. Tech stocks were down 35%. The S&P 500, which is a broad market, was down 20%. I personally was down at the worst, like 40%, 40 some odd percent at some point last year. I mean, it was, but a part of that is also because, and it's something we've been talking about this year, I was heavily weighted toward technology. Yes, at the end of 2021, Brent and I said, hey, start paring back your technology stocks, which Brent and I did, but we were still heavily weighted to technology. We just reduced some of our positions, sold out some others, but tech was still the largest part of our portfolio. So what that taught, I mean, we already knew this. Like Brent, we knew this. So what at least taught me, when I'm taking more action this year is I'm being more diversified in my portfolio, not being as heavily weighted towards technology. It's still the largest sector in my portfolio, but I'm not as heavily weighted as I was in 2021. So having said all that, the reason we're doing this is we're just doing a mid-year check-in, right? We want to see how's the market done, and we'll kind of give our ideas on maybe where we think the market is going into the back half of the year, second half of the year into 2024.
Yeah, Leon, before you start, for anybody if you're not an IA member, you really should become an IA member today. We did a hot seat this past weekend. We found a stock that since inception in roughly 82, it has returned 16,000%. So just to give you guys some context, we did the math. If you would have put $500 in when, let's just say your child was born, by the time your child turned 31, 32, they would have roughly $8.1 million in their account. And so Leon and I went to the extreme. We said, what if we're 50% wrong? If we're 50% wrong, if you took $500 between the time when they were born and left it invested in this one stock until they turned 31, 32, you still would be giving them $4 million. $4 million. So granted, this is an oversimplification of the stock market. Leon and I, we're not big fans of single stock risk. Over the ebbs and flows over a 30-year period, I don't know who would probably stay invested that long. But if you did, theoretically, you're talking about $500 turning to $4 million. Why does that matter in the grand scheme of what we're about to say? It was a reminder for me that the market has that kind of potential. With the rocky roads, and we know some of you all inside the Investing Education Academy are new investors. You've never really gone through this type of cycle. Leon and I have. We've been in the market since we were 15. So we went through 2001 and with the bubble. We went through the mortgage bubble, 2008.
9/11.
9/11. We've been through all these things, and COVID. Now, COVID for a lot of you was the first time you got into the market. So you saw this extreme growth for, let's say, a 9-month period, and then the market hit a brick wall. And you were thinking, oh my gosh, it's rigged. It's a horrible place to be. No one can ever win in this marketplace. I'm out. I'm going back to the bank. Bank bonds and CDs are paying anywhere from 3 to 6%, 7% in some situations. That's wrong. And when you listen today and you think about these sectors, the potential for that one to, that one stock to go from, to grow 16,000%, it is real. It's out there in the market somewhere. The white whale exists. So, it's just a matter of being in the market long enough. And this is also why you diversify, because the reality is Leon nor I are proponents of single stock risk. As you all know, if you're been in Investing Education Academy a while, I'm more prone to take a single stock risk position, but it's not truly single stock. It's just a very highly weighted stock in my overall portfolio. Like, I don't think Leon nor I have ever really, and I normally I don't say ever, but I don't think we've ever taken a single stock position in our entire portfolio. So, have you, Leon?
No. I mean, my portfolio is typically made up of at minimum, I don't know, 10 to 20 stocks. I've never just been in one stock or even been 50-60% of my portfolio in one stock. Nah, I've never done that. Never will.
So, this weekend too, we talked about the one that went up 16,000%, which is crazy. But there was also two others that were over 2,000% rate of return since inception. So you think about this, even ones that went up 2,000%, you're talking about sitting on 200,000, 2 million, depending on how much you invest over a 30-year period. That is not that long. And for you 30-year-olds who are, been, involved in IEA for a while, and if you're an insider or above, go back, listen to that, see if it makes sense for your portfolio. For those of you all who are not IEA members and you've been listening to us for a while from the outside, now's a good time to get in. It's just a lot of good information coming, because even 2021, we predicted a change is coming, and that's what Leon was referencing earlier in this podcast. We suggested that people start changing their allocations, and we were like, everybody run for the hills in crypto. And some people were like, "Oh, I'm doubling down, I'm sticking around," and we were like, "It's not a cryptocurrency; it's really a micro tech stock." We said it before then. We were like, "Look, you should treat it how you would treat a micro tech stock," and all things have been consistent since we made some of these predictions. Not to say we'll always be right. Not saying we won't. Right. But anyway, we're gonna have some fun with it. And if you've been thinking about getting into the market, now's a good time. All right. So Leon, floor.
Yeah, and just real quick on that stock is up 16,000% in 31 years. Just want to make the point. It's not a meme stock. It's not a penny stock. Those penny stocks and these stocks can jump all over the place. This stock has a market cap of $40 billion. This is one of the largest, by market cap perspective, one of the largest companies in the United States, up 16,000% in between 30 35 years. So we're not talking about just some fly by night, some rinky dink thing that just did had a good run. No, this is a large company in the United States that's up 16,000% over the last 31 years. So I just want to make that point to think, they're espousing junk. No. Yes. This is a large cap, $40 billion plus company that's up that much. All right. So now for this year, so I'm going to go through the top 5 sectors this year and the percentages that they're up. So first one is semiconductors. The semiconductor sector. Now I'm talking about the sector in general. I'm not talking about individual stocks. There's some stocks going to be up higher, some stocks that are going to be lower. This is kind of an average for the sectors. So semiconductor stocks are up 43% as of today, right before we came on, when the market was open.
And Leon, this is year to date, or is this the last 12 months?
Yeah, so this is good point. This is year to date. So this is since January 2nd of this year through today. Semiconductor sector is up 43%. Tops in the
43%.
43%. Now, and of course, in that example of it is NVIDIA. So the sector as a whole is up 43%. Now, like I said, there's stocks inside that are up, that are going to be up more, that are going to be down more. We know, people that have been tracking NVIDIA or following us know NVIDIA is up over 160% this year. So, if you own that, as I do, and as Brent,
I do too,
and as Brent does, yes, We've reaped the rewards of that, but the sector in general is up 43%, and that's semiconductors. Number two is is technology in general, so tech stocks. Now, a bit of a distinction here because semiconductors stocks are considered tech stocks, but personally, I like to break them out because they're such a beast on their own, and they're so important to the economy and kind of the future of technology. I break them out and break them out separately from tech. So semiconductors up 40%. Now, tech stocks in general, generally speaking, like minus semiconductors, they're up 38%. Example of that is Microsoft, right? Microsoft, Apple, those type of companies. General, that sector's up 38%. Third highest for the year is communication services, and inside that sector, you have companies like Meta and Google inside there. So 30%. Fourth highest for the year is consumer discretionary. So think things like McDonald's, Walmart, things like that, Costco, companies like that. And then the fifth highest for the year is housing, and that housing sector, and just think home builders, companies that actually build homes. That's up 24% for the year. So those are the top five for the year. Last year, all those were decimated. All those were probably some of the worst hit last year, and now this year they're some of the best. They're essentially recovering this year. So that's the first half of the year. That's January through June, or January through today. Now going forward, we have no idea what's going to happen because coming in this year, nobody in the world expected the market to be. Oh, real quick, let me just make another point. So we have I just run through it again. Semiconductors, number one, is up 43%. Technology in general is up 38%. Number two, communication services up 30%. Number three, consumer discretionary is up 29%. Number four, and then home builders, 24% is up 5%. Now, to compare that to the general market, which is our benchmark is always the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is up only 15%. So you see how those particular sectors are greatly outperforming the general market. And to show you how even more impressive that is, so the S&P 500, which generally quoted in a market cap weighted, which means all that means is companies that have the biggest market caps like Apple, Microsoft, they'll be weighted more. So as those stocks go higher, the market cap weighted index will reflect that, right? But there's also something called the equal weighted S&P 500, where no matter the market cap, every stock has the same weight. So every stock I think in that is like 3% of the overall index. I like equal weight. I like to watch equal weight better because it removes those large market cap stocks,
the outliers.
Exactly. Yeah, right. It kind of removes the outlier and gives you a better average. And so, as I said, the S&P 500 market cap weighted is up 15%. Now the equal weighted is only up 3%. Right. So that gives a truer sense of what the actual market is doing this year. So the actual market, again, equal weighted basis is up 3%. So that shows you how much of a big move semiconductors, tech, consumer discretionary, communication services, and housing have had. All those are up 24%, 29%, 30%, 38%, 43%. When equal weighted is only up 3%, and then market cap weighted is up 15%. So just know that I would say you want to pay attention to those top five, but going forward, we have no idea if they're going to do well the second half of the year. So, but just know that for the first half of the year, those are the ones that did well. I'm going to be looking to continue to invest in some of those as stocks in those sectors as they pull back. But I'm also going to be looking at the ones that are not some of the sectors that did not perform that well this year, that killed it last year. Things like healthcare, energy, and defense. Those last year did awesome because they're what are called defensive stocks that aren't really as affected by things like interest rate hikes as much. So I'm looking at some of those because I'm expecting some of those to catch up to where the market is in generally, because those are actually down for the year. But I'm still staying in those top five as well. So that's kind of a report of the mid-year. It's like a mid-year report of what the market has done through today.
All right, everybody. I mean, it really is what we want to share with you all. If you have comments, questions, let us know. I'm putting to the comments. We'll address them as we can. if you are listening to this podcast later on, you can go to iapodcast.com, find the episode, and actually leave a comment. So you have an avenue to leave comments as well. And if you're an IA member already, which hopefully most of you listening to this are, we are growing, and you can still go into the platform, find the podcast. It's marked inside the platform, and leave a comment there. So it's a million different ways you can leave comments. Also, subscribe if you are visiting us on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're making a push to grow it this year, or for the remainder of the year, and we hope that you can be a part of it and help us out in that space. As always, Leon, did I miss anything?
Yep.
Besides the 2 stock picks.
Yeah, I'll say that was it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Besides the 2 stock picks, which you can find inside the platform, if anybody is a member of IA, please understand when you go in and check our stock picks, you can see our stock picks for almost like the last 2 or 3 years now. There were different reasons at different points in time why we thought they were good investments. So just because it's on a list doesn't mean it's still a top pick of ours. It was a top pick at that time. Mm-hmm. So do your research, make sure it's an applicable stock for your suitability, and then it makes sense for the way you actually invest. Just want to let you all know, somebody the other day saw the list and thought that because it was on the list, it just must be perpetually like our top pick. It was like, no.
But it's like I said, it's an awesome list because it goes back to July 2020. July 2020 when we actually first started. So we have every stock that we've picked since then through today. And so it's a really good list. Like I said, like Brent said, not saying buy any of those now, but it's a good list to kind of as almost like a research tool to say, okay, they picked X, Y, and Z back in the summer of 2021. Let me see what it's doing now, sort of thing. So it's like a good discovery tool versus actually saying, okay, buy these. And the ones we picked this year are ones that Brent and I are saying that yes, in this moment in time, in this year, these are actually good potential picks. You again do your own research. These are not suggestions, but these are just things that we like and we would buy.
All right, well, that was it, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks for our podcast happening every other Wednesday. Don't forget, you can find us at Investing Education Academy on YouTube, and please, please, please subscribe. Have a good day.